Shalom. All praises to the Most High. No said. Praise be to the earthly mother, the Holy Spirit, the Kahe, in the name of his only begotten Son, Motsah the Lamb. Unification to the nation. So I was just skimming through this book again. Let me see if I can get to it again. Yeah, this book. I brought this book out before, but I'm actually starting to really read it. And we're going to actually do. I don't know what I'm going to call this series. I guess it'll be in the in the title when I upload this when I get home. But bro, this is some crazy drop. And I'm also reading this other book on the Taino Indians, which could be my ancestors. I don't know, but there's also some interesting stuff in there, man. The Taino Indians said that they came from the Andes Mountains. They claim all the Indians came from the Andes Mountains. And let's see what this book has to say about South America, because this is an African writer, a West African writer, who has literally done research in Africa. He's not a person who claims to be an Israelite. He's literally just doing historical research, right? Let's see what he has to say. The idea that it was Europeans who introduced civilization to Africa is one of the biggest historical myths. In fact, evidence from archaeology, oral history, traditional languages, and cultural practices strongly indicate that it was the South American Indians who introduced civilization to Africa some 7,000 years ago. Well, whatever. I don't know what time it was, but let's roll with that. Long before the Greek and Roman civilizations emerged, the South American Indians had introduced civilization to Africa, thereby making Africa the second continent in the world to become civilized. Spurred on by their South American Indian guests, shout out to you, sis. Where is it? Where I lost my place. Damn, I was on a roll, man. Come on, man. Let's just start over. Spurred on by their South American Indian guests, the Africans built great empires that lasted for several thousand years at the time. Are you talking about the Mandinka or the Inca empires? Woo, I'm fired up, man. I could not believe when I saw this. I mean, obviously you can see the cover of the book. It's like, why are you getting hyped for? That's literally the cover of the book. But it's like everything makes so much sense now. They came from South America. The Inca came from South America and made West Africa, made the Mali empires. Come on, man. Everything came from here, man. This is the birthplace. This is the homeland. South America, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador. Come on, man. Peru. Let's go, man. Let's go back home. Contrary to popular myth in the Western world, the advent of Europeans destroyed civilization in Africa rather than made it. So let's move down. There is an abundance of cultural and technological evidence in South America and Africa that strongly suggests the South American Indians I missed the whole line, that there was a long interaction between the Africans and the South American Indians. Now, you have to dodge a little bit of the hijack because he's still using words like Africans, right? But my point is that the original look is obviously over here. Whatever look that we have over there, that is something that is more recent. Now, it's not that recent, but it's more recent. So we looked like so-called similar to Africans for quite a long time, but it still was not the original look. That's what I've been trying to tell people, but they're too caught up in negritude. Hey, man, when we mix with the Africans, when we take the African women's, then we can produce some beautiful people. We could do that with everyone. That's just who we are. That's our blessing. So let's stop getting too caught up in looks on the especially when it's when it's maternal. Like, bro, we're our seed line. We're not our mothers. We're not our outer shell. We're our seed line. Come on now. Let's keep flowing. However, Western anthropologists and historians have traditionally not been interested in this evidence. African historians appear not to be aware of the long interaction that took place between the South American Indians and the Africans starting at about 7,000 years ago. This interaction ended when the South American Indians died out suddenly in the 16th and 17th centuries. So this interaction stopped when they came and colonized us, both on West Africa, South America, the Caribbean, North America. They took down our empire. Oh, and also in India as well. Because there was we actually don't realize how many Israelites were actually in India and South India. There's way more than I thought. The slave trade that took place, the secret slave trade of the Portuguese with the Indians, the South Indians, it was on a whole nother level, man. Whole nother level. It was, they transported more of those people to the Americas than anyone from Africa. It's crazy. The strong cultural similarities between African and South America have largely been ignored. The similarities between native South American agriculture and African agriculture have largely been ignored. The similarities between some African cultural practices and some Native American cultural practices have been ignored. The similarities between native South American agriculture, architecture, and traditional architecture in some parts of Africa have been ignored. You know what this sounds like to me? It kind of sounds like when I have to go over this, but there's this group of people who came and ransacked the Egyptians after a certain amount of time and took all of their stuff. Took all their stuff. Right? Just took it. So all these lands, I believe we took them. We seized them. We seized them after, and this is exactly what we're going to do now. This is why everything comes full circle. Because all this land that they stole, we're going to steal it back and then some. We're going to go on a military conquest. Just like in the time of Joshua. And this next Joshua is Joshua again. Or Yahawahshi. And his angelic name, Motsah. Where was I? The fact that pyramids only exist in South America, Africa, and the Middle East has been ignored. So maybe the Middle East, we took that place because it was part of Egypt. Maybe. But the Americas, that was the place, that's our origin. Right? So that's our origin. South America, that's our origin. And technically, if we want to get real technical, Antarctica is our origin because that's where Mesopotamia. That's where Mesopotamia is. Let's see. Even a recent discovery of ancient South American Indian cave paintings depicting Negroes has been ignored. The lack of interest in this evidence is kind of bright out here. It's hard to read. May be the result of the fact that Westerners are afraid to confront the possibility that there were South American Indians in North Africa at the time the pyramids were built. So there's a lot of questions that need to be asked. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. We can't go by this whole surface level thing. The northern kingdoms in America, the southern kingdom came from Africa. Could we please try to get a little bit deeper? Please. Let me see. Yes. And listen, this is only a little bit of this what I've been reading. One of history's biggest myths is that civilization started in the Middle East. European historians made this claim and have perpetrated this myth for well over a century. On the contrary, African oral history and archaeological evidence suggests that civilization began in South America. The exact time frame in which human civilization started in South America is difficult to establish. However, it appears that when the latest humans from Africa arrived in South America, or dodged the hijack, about 40,000 years ago, they found a land that was not only habitable, but was also rich in agricultural resources. That's all I want to show you, man. Bro, there's so much evidence that South America, you know, just because Antarctica is not around, the next place you can go to is South America. And Mount Ararat might just be there. It might be in South America for all I know. I don't know. But I do know that Canaan took the best lands on earth. And we find all of these giant, red-headed, blue-eyed, white people, all as these pre-Incan kings, or pre-Judaic kings, or pre-David kings, aka the Philistines, the Jebusites, etc. Shalom, Selah Kalah.